All right, everybody, welcome back to your next episode of Wicked New England. I'm Andrew, joined by John, Anthony on my right, and we'll get back into it. So today's episode, we're going to talk about video games, something passionate about, all three of us share. My favorite, we're just going to go right out the gate. We're going to talk about Destiny. All right, so right now, we got the new expansion out. All right, Final Shape dropped. Let me tell you what, it is freaking crazy. All right, it's awesome. Crazy graphics, not seeing anything like that in a long time. Excited about everything Destiny's bringing to us. It's not the same grind that it used to be. Plenty of extra ways to grab loot. And honestly, just the lore about Destiny is like one of those things that's just amazing. Any game you can sit there and play for 10 years straight and it keeps you hyper-focused, awesome. Okay, it's just got one of the greatest stories around. All those Halo lovers out there, don't get me wrong, I love Halo. I was always a Bungie person back in the beginning. But Destiny came out, for me, it just took it like a whole nother level. Personally, I think they just hit the mark when it came to Destiny, Anything you combine space, you got PvP and PvE elements together. Playing with friends, playing solo, doesn't matter. Just that massive online world where everybody can impact each other in some way. The raids, don't get me started on the raids, right? Especially those... The first time they drop in a new expansion and you're struggling to get through it. I've never unfortunately been able to be a day one guy, so it's always come much later. Part of that's looking for a fire team or just not having everybody in my clan able to raid. But I tell you what, it's just a blast. It's a great experience overall. You play as a warlock, a hunter, or a titan, whatever your fancy is. If you like Call of Duty and PvP, you got the Crucible. Boom. If you want to combine that with some world aspects and fighting just enemies with other people on your side, but while also getting some PvP aspects, you got Gambit. It works. You got Strikes if you just want to do PvE. The game literally has everything you could possibly want. And on that, we're going to keep going here. I'm going to let these guys talk. But I could talk about Destiny all day. And actually, I might put a photo of this up in here too. I actually have a nice quarter sleeve here that's all Destiny themed that I would love to share with you guys. So we'll get to that in a bit too, or maybe I'll just pop it in here.
All right, so I don't know if I'm gonna get any judgment from this, but
He's
my
gonna get
favorite
judgment.
game, well, at least from them I will. Minecraft.
Okay. He won't get judgment on Minecraft because I literally own a copy of Minecraft on just about every console it's available on. I have it on PC, I have it on Switch, I have it on PS5, and I have it on Xbox One. And I used to have it on the phone too. I don't have it on the phone anymore because the phone's kind of a pain in the butt. But I love Minecraft. Creative mode only. This guy over here, though.
Survival mode only. That's
these guys.
what I love.
I tell you, they're elitists. They think they're better than the rest of us because they actually have like an objective and they don't build.
No.
They act like the rest of us are drawn with crayons.
Here's the thing. I don't think I'm better than everyone for playing Minecraft on survival. I think I'm better than you for playing on
You hear
survival.
that condescending tone?
Okay?
I think it's
all
everybody.
good. It's all good. However, survival's the right way to play. And here's why. Okay? I love the feeling of doing all these tasks, getting everything set up, and then just surviving. Like on the last world that I was on, I see it. On the last world I was on, I went and built this semi-decent castle. Okay, and the whole.
How many hours did it take you to mine all the materials to do that?
Let's not bring that up. However, at the end it was worth it because now I have this dope castle. I've got a farm. I've got tons of horses. A skeleton horse that I had to find it naturally. You can just spawn it in.
I made Camp Crystal Lake.
Well, okay. Can you just? Okay. I made a dope ass castle in survival.
I made Tony Stark's house from the first Iron Man on the side of the Malibu cliffs.
Okay, that's pretty dope.
Let him try that in story.
That's pretty dope. However, I made a town.
So did I.
That looks pretty nice in survival.
Mine has working streetlights powered by redstone.
That's easy.
This guy.
I mean, come on. I'm a certified redstone engineer over here.
Go mine me 500 blocks to build one room. Anthony, why don't you keep this thing going?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some
being
good
the
games.
oldest one of the group, obviously, I have never played Minecraft and I have never played Destiny. big shocker there. I grew up in an area where I had an Atari. But as far as like new modern games, for me, it's about telling me a story. If I can get a game where I'm being told a story, I am locked in. A lot of the games that I've played, as far as like primarily, of course, Call of Duty. I love playing, of course, on the multiplayer modes, which sometimes you win, most of the time you get your ass handed to you. But I also loved playing the Batman Arkham games. Batman is I've always been a big fan of Batman in general, so that a big.
But do you have the Batman Secret Lab chair?
No.
You know, I think I can one up here. Batman Arkham Knight, I completed that 240%. Now you might be wondering, 240%? That doesn't even make any sense.
Try hard.
Not try hard. It's way easier than it seems. All you have to do is you have to beat the game 100% twice, as well as all the DLC. Now, here's
Sounds
the
like
thing.
a lot of work. I played Lego Batman as 100% that on the Xbox.
Worth it. Here's the thing. When it comes up to what do you get for doing 240%? On the main menu it says Gold V whatever the suit name is. So I thought, oh, it's going to be a completely gold bat suit. That's pretty dope just to have. So spoiler alert, that's not what you get. You get the same bat suit, but the bat symbol is gold. So one little piece and your bat suit's gold for spending hours and hours of your life doing 240%.
So after you've
Batman
gotten
Arkham
a
Knight.
divorce and you've lost your girlfriend and you've spent all your time dedicated to this game, you too can have a gold emblem on the front of your chest.
It's not
Sounds
worth
like a lot of regrets.
it. There is. Great game though. Love the game.
Moving on to other great games. You know, we got a remake coming out in October. You know, I'm super excited for it. But Silent Hill 2, you know, it really pains me though in a way because the one I really, really want to see is a reboot of the first Silent Hill. So I don't know how many of you know this story. It's pretty common knowledge at this point. But the actual production company that made the first Silent Hill, the master tapes were actually burnt. And they were never salvaged. So actually that's why we haven't seen any ports on any other consoles, things like that. Even though the Switch could definitely run it, and I would so buy it in a heartbeat. Even at $60 full price, I would do it. I am also the guy that just paid for a remastered Red Dead Redemption and paid full price. So, you know, and the Grand Theft Auto trilogy as well. So, you know, I'm definitely into that sort of thing. But Silent Hill, great series. You know, I always felt that it had the... not as much hype as Resident Evil, but it stood just as well as far as story goes and as far as the amount of scares and terror. You know, a lot of the creatures in the Silent Hill universe are actually much more terrifying than that you would see in Resident Evil. Sure, Resident Evil's got the zombies, it's got the lickers, the hunters, you know, but the weird malformed children in Silent Hill, just for me, just kind of take it. That along with Pyramid Head and, of course, those foxy nurses with the butcher knives, always good stuff. Actually, let me pass it off to Anthony too, because we were actually talking before this episode, and we were kind of touching base on BioShock a little bit. So let me just give you a chance to talk about that if you want.
You know, BioShock Infinite was the first game that I had of my experience in BioShock. I know that was the last game that they had produced. Unfortunately, that seems to be over. I would love to for them to actually do another BioShock. They had a lot of storytelling as far as like loopholes in time, so to speak. Being a child of the 80s, I loved seeing and listening to the different versions of melodies of the music that was played. Interesting little tidbit there. But it's all 80s related with kind of a 1940s twist, if you would, I guess you could say.
Definitely feel that vibe, that whole golden age, you know, Welcome to Rapture. Definitely had that 40s, 50s vibe.
Yeah,
maybe
it did.
even as far back as the 20s, even for that matter. A lot of cool elements on that.
You know, funny story about BioShock Infinite. So that came out while I was in middle school. I know, I don't mean to make you guys feel old.
I think I'm gonna have a heart
Don't mean to.
attack.
I'm so sorry.
Ugh.
However, loved that game.
And what year did you graduate high school again?
Next question. So, when I beat that game, I'll never forget. I could tell I was getting towards the end. Things were starting to wrap up. and I used to play video games in my basement.
You were one of those kids.
Oh yeah, I was one of those kids, and it was awesome.
And he played it in the dark, guaranteed.
Yep.
The whole
My
room
mom-
smelled like reheated Dominoes and Doritos.
Whoa! Food was upstairs. That was a rule that was implemented after a different incident. Anywho,
That was the Doritos incident in 1997.
that far back.
Oh no, sorry, you're that young.
He's
Hey!
too young.
Oh my God.
He's too young.
Try
Right.
2013.
Sorry, trying
Bob.
my childhood, right?
2013.
My mom opens up the door, and she goes, "Hey, you coming up anytime soon?" So me knowing that the game was gonna end, I called back up to say, "I'm almost done with the game. Is it okay if I just finish this up?" She says yes. Play through the rest of the game. I'm in awe. I was blown away. Fantastic game. And then, right as I turn off my system, my Xbox One, or no, at the time 360.
360. Yeah.
360.
Xbox 360.
I turn it off. I feel accomplished. I feel happy. I'm like, all right, what time is it? Look at the time. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you know, we all have those games that just kind of get us addicted and pull us in to the point that we just got to keep playing and we don't know what time it is, you know? For me, that game was definitely Destiny, always. Like, every time a
Which
new
game?
expansion comes out,
Which game do you like?
the best game there is right now. Destiny, yes.
Destiny. I don't think I've heard of it.
This guy,
Oh,
right? No, the first game that I ever played, like, round the clock, if you will, really did the whole all-nighter thing. Me and my brother, we had to share games, you know. Obviously, we didn't each get our own copy, so that was interesting enough. But when Resident Evil 2 came out, we actually took turns. We stayed up all night long, and we played through every variation of Resident Evil 2, both discs, Claire and Leon. You know, got all the outfits, all the extra parts, and so forth. And we just kept going back and forth between us. We must have put in, it was a good 18-hour session, I want to say. Maybe a little bit less than that, because I mean, you got to figure, even on a good run, and you're doing like sub 3 hours, it's still pretty hard to do. Most average people are probably getting like 3.5, 4, depending. I mean, if you're a complete God mode, God bless. Hey, good for you. But usually on average, I'd say about 3 hours for a run. But just playing through that all night long, staying up, and this is before Monsters, by the way. You know what I mean? And this is us like just being kids, sitting up. I mean, I say kids, but like, we'll say, I don't know, I was probably about like 10, 11. This guy wasn't even a zygote. But, moving on from that,
Just
Anthony, what
remember,
else do you
someday
want
I'm
to
going
talk
to be
about?
investigating for you guys. Just remember that.
So when we're in the home, he's still going to be the one shooting the videos. Okay, me and Anthony are going to be kicked back on the rocking chair watching the greatest hits on the YouTube. Like, yeah, remember when we investigated that asylum? Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me pull my teeth out. All right, moving on from that. Is there any other games you want to talk about?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty,
I
let's
did-
do it. Let's butter that
I
muffin.
did love Call of Duty. I loved a lot of the stories. My first Call of Duty was actually Modern Warfare 2.
You started late.
Yes, I know I did. But
World
I
at War.
I
would be my
did go
first.
back and play.
I went back and played the others, but World at War was the first time I actually started.
I went
Like
back
Call
and
of Duty.
actually played the others as well. I also like, for me, Call of Duty, I like more of the World War II feel, not so much of the
See,
modern feel.
I am the opposite. See,
I like
I'm
the
more
World War
about
II
that
worlds.
Modern Warfare. Yeah.
I like the World War II feel of things better.
But my favorite was actually Black Ops. There's something about Vietnam for me that, like, I guess if you had a favorite war, you know, whether that be popular culture, television, movies, anything like that, every movie I've ever seen that had like something to do with Vietnam, I've always been fascinated with. Love that late '60s rock music, so forth. Just the whole vibe and culture, you know, even the hippie culture in Woodstock and so forth. I just always had like fascination with that, if you will. So it's why, like, you know, Forrest Gump, Platoon, you know what I mean? Apocalypse Now, The Thin, you know, all those movies just always kind of like hit home for me because I just love Vietnam. So you're more of a World War II guy then?
Yes.
Gotcha. So you're like Saving Private Ryan, like I don't know. What's your favorite war movie?
Saving Private Ryan is definitely one of my top ones.
Okay.
there's quite a few others that I can't think of right now.
It's all right. I gotta
Sorry,
put you on
little-
the spot.
A little unprepared on that one.
I'm good about that.
But yeah, there are a lot of different World War II movies I liked. I also liked some of the movies that featured like early films with some movies that come to mind that I know the actors. Maybe you guys can fill in the blanks. Harrison Ford was involved with them, and it was also kind of a star-studded that film. The name of it is really putting me on the spot right now. I can't think of it.
Man, I can picture it in my head.
You can picture it in your head, but you can also see the other actors in your head too that played with them. We'll probably fill in the blank and maybe even put something down here as to what we're talking about.
You know, I
I'll
will
fill
say, for World War II movies, Hacksaw Ridge has got to be my favorite. Hacksaw Ridge,
That's the one with the medic, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Private Desmond Doss. It's all about his story. I think that is one of the best war stories I've ever heard in my life. I mean, you talk about the human spirit. That man right there. You know,
Sounds pretty uplifting. You
It
see
was-
where that'd be kind of cool.
it was a great movie. Don't get me wrong, Saving Private Ryan for World War II movies, that's the World War II movie.
Especially
No.
when you want to talk about landing on the beaches of Normandy. Other films would be like the Memphis Belle, which
Mhm.
is
Good fighter pilot
B-17.
movie. Yeah.
There's also another one that I saw. I believe it was called. That name slips my mind too, but it's another good film regarding B-17 pilots during World War II, more from the African front, I believe.
Red Tails?
No, it wasn't Red Tails. It was a different movie.
Okay.
Definitely World War II related.
Well, Pearl Harbor touched
B-17s.
base on that too, with the fighter pilot aspect a little bit.
Yes.
You know?
But I won't discuss too much about Pearl Harbor. I'm not too much of a fan of that film. The most realistic aspect were the events that played out in Pearl Harbor. In that film, the rest of it kind of seemed like some mixed up, jarbled.
Well, to be fair, I think it was more trying to hit home as a romance than it was
Yeah.
necessarily
And
like a documentary.
It's not really a
stuff.
documentary aspect.
I did hear Midway was good, but I didn't actually get the chance to see it. I did pick it up on Blu-ray a while back, but I still haven't watched it yet.
Tora
So, hoping
Tora
that-
was a good one too.
That one was good. I did see that one. Yep. Moving back into video games though, because I think I steered the
We
ship
went
the wrong
way
way
off
into
way.
movies a little bit.
Back into Call of Duty a little bit. My favorite thing with Call of Duty, which you would think, someone of my generation, you'd probably be thinking, oh, Modern Warfare 2 quick scoping, like, that would probably be
For the
my
record,
generation.
before he continues, I hate quick scopers. Okay, quick scopers and no scopers, get the hell off my map.
Anywho,
No
My
one cares you
favorite
can
thing-
jump, turn 360, and shoot a bullet. Okay, no one cares.
flame him in the comments. My favorite thing is zombies. Zombies mode is definitely my favorite. I had so much fun just going on with my friends and just playing zombies. That's where I had a ton of just conversation while we're just playing.
The one mode I really don't care for, and I think they can get rid of. But I understand. A lot of my friends, my other friends, I will say, they are all zombie heavy. I would rather play Warzone or play, regular multiplayer. That's just me. I like the aspect of zombies, okay? But sometimes it gets a little too, what's the word I want to use?
Repetitive.
Mechanic heavy and repetitive. To me, that takes some of the fun out of the game a little bit. And depending on who you get stuck with in a lobby, things can go really bad.
See, one thing for me, I mean, number one, I loved the music Easter eggs, where you get the 3 teddy bears, listen to Avenged Sevenfold while you play. I thought that was awesome. But Black Ops 2 Zombies is definitely my favorite zombies mode.
The one zombies I liked the most was the first Black Ops, because I just thought it was cool running around as JFK. I mean,
2 and 5 are 2 of the best maps ever made.
now,
But
my girlfriend would definitely agree on Black Ops 2 being the best out of all the Call of Duties as far as multiplayer goes. I actually say it's Black Ops 1. Personally, Hijack never really did anything for me, but for some people, that's like the best map ever made.
wow.
Myself, I'm more of a firing range guy. That's just it. I like the map. You know what I mean?
That's
But
fair.
and honestly, I like the weapons, man. Black Ops 1, AK-74U, Stone Cold Killer. All right, running around with that thing. That was definitely one of my favorites.
See, for
By
me, going
far.
into Black Ops 2, that's where I enjoyed multiplayer more. Because Black Ops 1, again, it was mostly zombies that I played. Me and my friends would just play zombies, go on Kino, go on 5. Black Ops 2 is where I started to enjoy multiplayer because I know you're not going to agree, but Hijacked, I loved it. I thought that was a fun map.
It is a fun map. Just for me, I can't say it's the best. You know what it is? I catch it from my girlfriend all the time. Hijack. But you know what? There's better maps. All right? All the maps on Black Ops 1, amazing. Okay? But I'm definitely more of a Modern Warfare person anyway. So, for me, the high point, if you will, of playing with my friends, like after school, or not even after school, after work, let's say that, because he's the kid. Playing with my friends after work, running home, had to get that playtime in. It was definitely Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. There was nothing like running around that trailer park, just like crawling around in the crawl spaces, shooting each other, hiding in the swimming pool, and a couple other spots too, and they brought back a lot of those maps too with the newer Modern Warfares, which is great. A lot of people complain that basically the newest one was a reboot of Modern Warfare 2, but I actually didn't mind it so much. The campaign was still new, and all those maps I loved when I was so much younger came back, so it was like nostalgia for me, which was great.
See, after school, I would play on Terminal, and that was probably my favorite Modern Warfare.
So while he had a couple of those grandma's oatmeal ice cookies and some Capri Sun, some of us were drinking beer playing multiplayer like men.
Here's the thing. If you could go back and have oatmeal cookie sandwiches and Capri Suns, would you not?
I still do today because I have a 4-year-old son, so I just steal his.
Point made.
Dad of the year, right here. Okay? Moving on from that, granted we're in video games, but I'm going to toss us back into movies. I was saving this for the next one as kind of like an icebreaker question, but I want to throw it out there anyway. What's your favorite movie?
So my favorite movie changes sometimes. Right now, John Wick Chapter 2. I love the John Wick series. John
stuff.
Wick 1, fantastic start. It was the most believable one of the series in my opinion. Chapter 2 is where it starts to get more outlandish, but the choreography of the fight scenes, the stunts, I think there's something to be said about it.
John Wick is a certified badass. I've got a lot of enjoyment watching out all those movies. I'm sure there'll be a 5th coming out sooner than later.
Well, they're making the Ballerina. That's going to be a spin-off.
And they had the show on Netflix or Max?
It might have been Peacock.
Peacock.
The Continental.
The Continental, right.
Yeah.
I don't get too hung up though on like what's believable or not. For me, movies are about enjoyment, so I'm good with them being fake. If I want to see something real, I'll pick up that GoPro, I'll walk down the street. We'll film it ourselves. That's what we're doing right now. But, movies are about enjoyment, so I don't get too hung up on, like, did it 100% capture, like, the accuracy and so forth. I can appreciate that in a documentary, because that's the whole point. You want to learn exactly what was going on. Movies, I take at their entertainment value, so even if they're outlandish, I can dig it. You know what I mean? To an extent. Sometimes it definitely has a high cheese factor, so it gets to be too much.
And cheesy movies are awesome. Like, one of my other favorites, Army of Darkness.
Love
Army of Darkness is fantastic.
House
hands
Wares,
down.
aisle 4.
I love the ending the most. Jumps on the cart, right at the demon. I love that. I thought that was awesome.
Give me some
Still.
sugar.
John Wick takes the cake for me.
Bruce Campbell,
Right now.
Army of Darkness, gotta love it. So, one thing you gotta know about me is I'm really primarily a horror guy, okay? I actually just showed these guys downstairs. I was looking, my collection's got somewhere in the neighborhood of around 4,000 DVDs and Blu-rays. That's not to toot my own horn, just some people collect baseball cards, some people collect movies, some people collect vinyl and albums. I'm a movie guy, so that's what I collect. I've been doing that since I got my first paycheck when I was 13. And, I've been buying movies ever since. Started on VHS and it just progressed from there. But even though I'm a horror guy and I have more horrors than I do of any other genre, my favorite movie is actually a drama. Mine is actually Good Will Hunting, okay? Some people call that basic, whatever. You guys want to roast me in the comments, go right ahead. I'm more than up for a friendly debate on that. One thing you got to know then, a little bit of backstory on that. So I moved to Florida when I was 15. Not by choice, kind of by necessity. I had my choice of either Florida or Texas. I chose Florida, basically choose one parent or the other, good fun stuff that comes along with those things. And I went to Florida. Got homesick, of course, because I love Massachusetts. As far as I'm concerned, it's the greatest of all 50 states. Fight me in the comments if you'd like. I'm ready for that debate. I will take all comers on that one because Massachusetts, represent, it's the best. Okay, but every time I was homesick, I could put that movie on, and it kind of gave me that home feel. You know what I mean? So it kind of like eased that pain just a little bit. So that's awesome for me. Plus, Matt Damon did a great job, and who doesn't love Robin Williams? Right?
Yeah.
And that's something you don't see every day. It's not his regular like comedy role. That's another reason why I appreciate that film. Hey Anthony, what's your favorite movie?
I would say To Kill a Sunrise with Michelle Pfeiffer, Mel Gibson, and Kurt Russell. Nice drama, action, romance.
Great movie.
A little bit of everything combined. It also shows life of backstory on it. Life of a drug dealer trying to actually be a parent. So
takes all kinds and takes the village. Thanks.
But it's a good story, and if you're into something with a little bit of everything to suit whatever need you need, that might be a movie on the list to watch.
And another fun idea is to watch that movie while drinking a tequila sunrise, because it is a damn fine drink.
Yes, it is.
Combine that with a great movie, and you got yourself a good night. Maybe throw in some Good Will Hunting when that's over, and why not round out the night with some John Wick and keep the adrenaline moving?
That's a good move.
It sounds like a solid plan. Maybe we might have to do that sometime. Watch all three of those back to back. Because every one is uniquely different. I will say that. Not one is the same.
And if we watch it as a series, I feel like that would be the craziest trilogy that we could ever have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is 100% probably a crazy trilogy.
We would have to just make our own connections between the movies.
And this is something I'd love to interact with you guys on too. Anybody watching this movie, feel free, definitely drop in the comments below, leave us a comment. What's your favorite movie? I promise you, I'm not going to roast you because I love pretty much every movie there's ever been. I mean, even the bad ones I love, like the horrible horror movies that are so cheesy. But to me, they're pretty amazing. There's actually one I was talking about online in the Facebook group with a couple other horror fans the other day called Slash. And it's actually one that almost nobody really knows about, right? I actually got it used from Hollywood Video when they had a sidewalk sale. It's about a scarecrow. I won't give too many spoilers if you're looking to go check it out. But it's probably not the best slasher movie there is out there. You're going to laugh. You're going to like, oh my God, you're going to roll your eyes. But honestly, it's a fun ride that I think everybody should take at least once. And if you're not really a huge fan of horror movies, you won't really get spooked in the process. So it's just a little bit of fun.
You know, this is kind of a side note. Not necessarily your favorite movie, but I was talking about this at work the other day. If you had, like, if an alien came down and you needed to show them one movie, what movie would you show them?
That's easy. Talking an alien?
We're talking an alien that came down and said,
Like Little
I want to
Green Man.
watch a movie. Little Green Man, Tall Gray Man.
Independence Day, hands down. Assert dominance, show the little green man who's boss. This is what happens when you mess with us.
Okay.
I'm going to support that one. I like that one.
All right. I was going to say The Shining.
I mean, it's a great movie.
I think
but
that's
what
a
kind
good
of
movie.
message is that sending?
That's
That way
the
you
type
might
of
be just a
message
little crazy.
as, don't take a vacation here, or else you might get attacked by an old woman in a...
Or we could really take it in another way. We could show them killer clowns from outer space.
Okay.
Might be kind of interesting and fun. Maybe they'd put down their guns that shoot bullets and start shooting popcorn at us, and it wouldn't be so bad.
Or maybe Men in Black. We say that it's a documentary. Give me Men in Black.
Fun fact, Men in Black has a pug. I have a pug. One of these days I'll pick him up and I'll hold him up to the camera so you can see him in a video. Unfortunately, his name is not Frank. My pug's name is Whiskey.
But he does
But,
talk. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, in some sort of language of his own. We just can't understand it. he likes to wiggle and grunt, which you know, I think a lot of people like to do that too. So
I know I do.
all right, rounding this off. Here's one we didn't touch base on. Okay, so we're still talking about video games, right? We're bouncing back and forth between movies and that. What's your favorite mobile game? Just to kind of throw a wrench in it, right? You know, it's the technological age. Everybody's got a phone in their pocket. They're touching it every 10 seconds. I'm pretty sure most of our viewers probably are as well. What game you like to play on your phone?
You know, it used to be Bloons, but right now I've been going back to Minesweeper a lot.
You can still get Minesweeper on the phone?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. I
Yes,
remember
you can.
playing that
Wow.
back before like Windows 98. We're talking
Wow.
old school PC.
Yeah.
I used to play Minesweeper. Remember, you could like blow out the grid and make it a little bit bigger. You could pick how many squares were available to play. Man,
Wasn't America?
Minesweeper was great.
Wasn't America Online still a thing back then?
America Online was still a thing. I think I still remember my screen name from back then. It was like Extreme, because like, you know, that was the 90s kid thing to do, right? But I didn't spell it the regular way. It was like XTRME. All right, you know, it was edgy and like cool, right? Yeah. Remember that first email address? Poking in all the chat rooms. You know, if you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. That was before we slid into people's DMs. We just like hit the private chat and saw what was going on. Different time, I know. Now we're all on Discord. We got private servers. So my favorite mobile game, I will say, lately has been Star Trek Fleet Command. I'm a bit of a geek in that regards. I love Star Wars the most, but I also, as an adult, am starting to appreciate Star Trek more because I don't know. I feel like it's, you know, it's more mature. You know, I think I needed to be a little bit older to appreciate it fully. When I was a kid, you couldn't even fight me on that. It was just Star Wars only. Star Trek people, get out of here. I don't want to talk to you, Trekkie. Okay? But now I'm definitely a full-blown Star Trek fan, for sure. And back before that, it was probably honestly like Candy Crush or Angry Birds. Mindless self-indulgence type apps, right? There's not a whole lot of thought involved with those. But definitely not a bad way to spend like 20 minutes.
Yeah, you guys all just saw me cheat and look at my phone because I couldn't remember the name of the game. Infinity 8 Ball, just because I like to shoot and pull.
Oh, yeah.
Infinity 8 Ball, yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple of pool apps I used to play too. Not Infinity. I'm trying to remember the name. It was like 8 Ball something.
There's been a lot of
But
different
there's
games.
been a good pool games.
One by Miniclip is great. I
Actually,
play
used to
that
be in
all
a
the
pool
time.
league too. That's a fun fact. You know, I'm not an athlete by any means, but if it's a sport you can play while drinking a beer, it's probably something I'm pretty good at. You know, me and Anthony have actually been partners in a hatchet league. You know, because who doesn't want to drink a few beers and throw some sharp objects, right? I mean, it's a good time. So we've done that. You know, I've done pool. We're actually in a cornhole league right now. Not that we're very good, unfortunately. We're 1-2. Okay, so there's
Better
that.
than some.
Better than some, but you know, not as bad as others. But you know, that whole go over 21, roll back to 15 rule, hating it. Just saying, we'll throw that out there. So, any last things any of you guys want to touch base on before we wrap this one up? Because I feel like we bounced around pretty good, but definitely a good conversation.
I'd say so.
All right,
Very interesting.
very interesting. All right.
Like we said before on the previous episode, we will definitely be talking about many different things. So don't be surprised if you touch base on something that either makes you laugh, makes you cry, or just ticks you off. It's just how it is.
If either one of these guys irritates you, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to provide baby pictures. Embarrassing kind, of course.
And when Andrew irritates you, make sure to put that in the comments.
That's every episode, because I mean, I'm just me. But closing on that, we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Wicked New England, episode 3, which we're going to talk about some other interesting topics. Nothing as entertaining as probably movies or video games, but something a little more closer to the paranormal range anyway. So we'll try to stay back on point when it comes to topics like that. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, like and subscribe if you want to see more. Appreciate it.